Hello, this is Grandma Jan from Red Toad Art Studio, and today we are going to do a very simple torn paper collage. This is one anybody can do of any age. Grandmas, do it with your grandchildren. Moms, do it with your children. It's great fun. You don't even need very much for this one. This is my box of scraps. You may have a box like this, or you may not. You just need a few pieces of paper. Now, I'm going to start mine with this. It's an old dictionary I have torn pages out of. You can use an old piece of newspaper, or just any kind of decorative paper you have. Then I have also gone through my scraps. And I have all kinds of scraps in here. And I've picked out several ones I think I would like to use on this. I don't know which ones I'll pick yet, but we'll work on that. You will also need some stick glue. And if you have a big fat stick, that works the best yet. And then along with that, one of these is handy. This is a range cleaner. If you have the fancy ranges that have glass on top, they come with these, or you can get these. You can get these online on Amazon. You can probably pick it up at Walmart even. And we use this to press the glue in. I used to have terrible trouble not getting bubbles in my work where I use glue and Mod Podge. These take out a big percentage of them. I'll show you how to use it in a minute. You may also want a brayer if you have one. Now this is an old antique one. I also have a new one, but I love this old antique one just to roll the bubbles out. And I can't think of much else you need, just the page to do it in. I'm going to do it in my larger book. This is one I've done several in. I'll show you one where I practiced doing this method. We will do one that looks something like this. Very little. A lot of dictionary pages, a couple colors there, and something in the center. I'm thinking these look like flowers, but they are anything you want them to be. So let's take a page, a few pages over. Don't do them next to each other. Skip a few pages and then do one, because as your book gets fatter, you may need to take some pages out to keep your book closable. So, if you remember that this one had a line straight up and down like a stem connecting everything. So I need to look for a straight up and down piece that's as tall as my page. And I have several here. I have 3 different ones that I can choose from. And I picked a red again because I like the way that contrasts with my dictionary page. So let's go back here. The first thing we need to do is tear our paper to cover this section. We need to tear our dictionary page. I want everything to be a rough edge. So I'm going to just tear like this to give a rough edge to everything. And don't throw these scraps away. Throw them in your scrapbook. So you may use a small piece sometime. And if you notice, when you tear paper, it looks different whether you tear it down or whether you tear it up. See, I tear it down. It doesn't show as much on my dictionary page, but it will on the other colors. So experiment with your paper and to see what way it looks neat. One way shows a white edge, and another way just shows a nice clean edge. And I actually like the white edges. But you do the way you like. And I want to leave a little border around, so I will go something like this. You don't have to get real fancy with this. Don't worry, just have fun. cut and glue. I should say tear and glue. You'll find it actually takes you a little while to fill this. I'm tearing those straight edges off. Now, let me start putting these down. Have a scrap piece of paper to put to your side. You'll need to glue on something. You don't want to get it on your book or your table. So let's start at the corner. Let's start at this one. So turn it over. There, you can barely see me do that. Just give it a good covering of your stick glue. And be sure you go off the edges. You don't want any spot that doesn't have glue on it. But don't put too much, because if you have gobs of glue, it'll show up in your picture as a bump. So about like that. Now, place it on your sheet where you want it. Smooth from the center out. And this is where you'll use your scraper. Very well. You don't want to tear your paper by doing too much pressure, but you want enough to flatten it down totally that there won't be any bubbles in the middle of it. See how that works? It's very simple. That's nice and flat. So next I will do a piece of paper next to it. We'll move all these out of the way. Well covered, all the corners and edges covered, and your writing doesn't all have to be up and down. It can be sideways too. That adds some interest to your picture. And we'll keep doing this until the whole picture is covered. Now, if you're working with children, you may want to pay attention to the words that are on your dictionary page if you use a dictionary. And it's really hard not to find a page that doesn't have words. I just noticed this one has the word demon on it. I wouldn't pick this to use with kids if they can read and ask you questions. Pick one that's safe, that has things like apple or strawberries or something safe words like that. But I've already started using this, so I'll keep using it. It's fine. I'm not using this one with kids. It's just for me and you. There, we've got the backing of our paper. Now we need to add our designs in. So we need to find our straight up and down piece. And I don't know which one I want to use yet. I'm thinking the black. This one does not contrast enough. This one's a little better, but I still like the black better. So I think the black one it will be. The only thing is, these aren't torn pieces. And I'd like a torn piece there. Let's see if I can tear it somewhat. This is a really little piece and a tough one. It won't tear. Let's see. I guess it can be straight up and down. There's no rule that says it can't be, is there? Let's put it on. Let's go for it. There's nothing that will be perfect. I want to put this in the center, out like this. Get rid of these two pieces. Now, I want 3 red flowers, and I'm going to show you how we tear those. On the back of my piece of paper, I have a red here. I'm going to draw a circle just so I have something to follow. Rough circle. And then just tear. Now, you notice this side had a white line. This side towards my circle does not. If I want a white line here, I have to tear this way, and I can't see my lines. So you think about that when you make it. Maybe you draw the line on top instead of on the back. There's one of my circles. Let's see. Find something I want to make another one out of. I like this one. In fact, I will draw my circle on top. And so I have one with white edges. See how that comes out. This is a different piece of paper. It might work a little different. Nope, it's going to do great. This is a collage that you don't even need a pair of scissors for. Especially good if you don't want the little kids to work with pointed scissors. There's a second one. And I have this piece of paper. Now this is a rice paper. I don't know how it will tear. If you're following me, you know I'm learning too. This is Grandma's journey. And she hopes people will go with her in learning how to collage. And this is one of the simplest collages I've run into. There's my 3 flowers. Now we need something for the center, and I didn't hunt for anything for the center. I need a little circular piece. I guess we'll go back to my box. Here's my box. See if I can find something that would be good as a circular piece. Yes. This was tucked under. Can't you see these as centers for my flowers? Now, I actually will need to use my scissors for this. So, let's see. This one right here will be good. It doesn't have to be cut out perfect because our torn paper ones always are imperfect. There's one center. It should be on my biggest one. And let's see, this green would go good. So, and If you don't have anything patterned like this, just tear little circles out. That will do great too. I think this one here will show up good. Actually, the contrast isn't too great on that, is it? That pink is too close. Why don't we cut this green one instead? Or maybe I should just use that. Let's use this blue one. That will surely show up. Let's see if we like this better. Yeah, I like that much better. And what about if we can do that? So let's get these glued down, and then we want to make a few things around this edge that doesn't have anything. We want to make a few things for decorations around the edge. So I'm going to take these one at a time. Be sure I don't get the fronts of my flowers all gluey. Turn my paper here. Here we go. Let's get the center here. There, we have our 3 flowers and their centers. Now I want to put something like in the corner that's a color that might contrast a little bit. I have some interesting things over here. I don't know. I think this would be interesting. Look through my pile. Isn't that interesting? It's a little big though, isn't it? I wonder just about tearing it until we have part of this. It could go there, or would it be better down here? No, it won't work that way, will it? It's a little big, isn't it? Let's see if we can make it a little littler. How about right there? Going into the corner a little bit. And I want to do this one. Let's see, it doesn't matter what it comes out like. It's for a dab of color. Let's see, and I have some interesting things like a postage stamp here. It doesn't really fit with the theme, does it? Here's I could just put a stamp there. Well, let's get these down. There. I wonder about this. I'd like to put this somewhere because that's purple is the same. Let's put it up there. And I think that's all we will need to do to this. Now, I'm going to take the braider and try to flatten out any bubbles that I might have missed. Just do it like this. Go over your page several different directions. Flip your page closed, braid this side. I'm not sure if that is a term. Braid. Flatten it. Now, you can call it done if you want. You should let it dry a little bit open, and then close your book and put something heavy on the top of it, and when it's dried, say the next day, this will be a nice flat page. But I want to seal mine first. So right now, I have chosen to finish this with Mod Podge while I'm here, and I'm in the middle of it, and I will show you how I do that. Now, Mod Podge is a messy medium. In fact, you probably won't want to use Mod Podge if you're doing it with any young children. Now, I've gotten me a bottle like this. I bought this at the store for under $2, maybe $2 with tax. And this is a nice, soft, squeezable bottle, and it makes it a pleasure to use Mod Podge. So we take the cap off and have a brush. I have a stencil brush, but you can use any brush you want. Just don't use a good brush, because using Mod Podge with a brush, it ruins them. I used this the other day and I managed to get it clean enough to use the second time, but I don't know how long I'll be able to do that. So I'm just going to squeeze enough out to podge a section, and I will work a section at a time, just like this. Don't worry about all this white showing, because Podge will dry clear. You'll never know you had white puddles. And this will keep my paper's edges from coming up and falling off. Go over it. Be sure you have good coverage here, and that all of our edges are down. Now this will have to dry, although Mod Podge does not take long to dry. Remember to cap your bottle as soon as you're done. And put your brush in water and keep it in that until you want to clean the brush. I just put mine in. Now, I want this to dry fairly quick, so I'm going to put it in front of a fan. I have a small fan that I keep on my art desk for this very purpose. And I will set it here. It's right here. And I will turn it on. And in just a few minutes, my Mod Podge will be dry. Now, before it is totally dry, I want to use my brayer on this again with the Mod Podge. But I want the stickiness off of it first. Well, it's about 15 minutes later, and I have let this dry partially. I'm going to get my brayer and close this page up and braid the back again like I did with the glue. Now I'm going to close the book and put something heavy on top of it. Let's see, what can I find? Another book, I think. I'll just put a heavy dictionary on the top of it for now. And I want to leave it that way for an hour or two. And even better if you leave it overnight. But I'll show you this, what it looks like after it's dried. Now, an hour or so later, you will want to take the weight off and open your book. And with any luck, this has dried nice and flat. Mine needs to be held down a little longer. I think overnight would be best. But it looks pretty good right now. It's dry and it's fairly flat. I hope you've enjoyed making this collage with me. I will say goodbye for now, and I'll see you when we make our third collage. Bye-bye.